In December 1606, 3 ships left England, with 144 men and boys, to establish a Virginia colony, chartered by King James I and funded by investors in the London Company. One of the 38 noblemen in the expedition was George Percy, who twice served as the colony's governor. He left Virginia in 1612 to return to England. The following are excerpts from his written account of his experiences in the first permanent English settlement in the New World. They cover the months between April and September of 1607 and show how close Jamestown came to extinction in its infancy. April 1607. The 6th and 20th day of April, about 4 o'clock in the morning, we descried the land of Virginia. The same day we entered into the Bay of Chesapeake, without any let or hindrance. There we landed and discovered a little way, but we could find nothing worth the speaking of, but fair meadows and goodly tall trees, with such fresh waters running through the woods, as I was almost ravished at the first sight thereof. At night, when we were going aboard, there came the savages, creeping upon all fours, from the hills, like bears, with their bows in their mouths, who charged us very desperately in the faces, hurt Captain Gabriel Archer in both his hands, and a sailor in 2 places of the body very dangerous. After they had spent their arrows, and felt the sharpness of our shot, they retired into the woods with a great noise, and so let us off. However, relations with Native Americans soon improved. A short time later, the settlers were invited to a Native American town. Quote, "When we came over to the other side, there was a many of other savages, which directed us to their town, where we were entertained by them very kindly. When we came first a land, they made a doleful noise, laying their faces to the ground, scratching the earth with their nails. We did think they had been at their idolatry. When they had ended their ceremonies, they went into their houses and brought out mats, and laid upon the ground. The chiefest of them sat all in a rank. The meanest sort brought us such dainties as they had, and of their bread, which they make of their maize or Guinea wheat. They would not suffer us to eat unless we sat down, which we did in a mat right against them." By May, their relationship had again deteriorated. Quote, "The 18th day, the werowance of Pasiphae came himself to our quarter, with 100 savages armed, who guarded him in a very warlike manner with bows and arrows, thinking at that time to execute their villainy. Pasiphae made great signs to us to lay our arms away, but we would not trust him so far. He, seeing he could not have convenient time to work his will, at length made signs that he would give us as much land as we would desire to take. As the savages were in a throng in the fort, one of them stole a hatchet from one of our company, which spied him doing the deed, whereupon he took it from him by force, and also struck him over the arm. Presently another savage, seeing that, came fiercely at our man with a wooden sword, thinking to beat out his brains. The werowance of Pasiphae saw us take to our arms, went suddenly away with all his company in great anger. By June the settlers had finished their fort, which would become Jamestown, and their leader, Captain Newport, had departed for England. Quote, "The 15th of June we had built and finished our fort, which was triangle-wise, having 3 bulwarks, at every corner like a half-moon, and 4 or 5 pieces of artillery mounted in them. We made ourselves sufficiently strong for these savages. We had also sown most of our corn on 2 mountains. It sprang a man's height from the ground. This country is a fruitful soil, bearing many goodly and fruitful trees, as mulberries, cherries, walnuts, cedars, cypress, sassafras, and vines in great abundance. Monday, the 22nd of June, in the morning, Captain Newport, in the Admiral, departed from Jamesport for England. Captain Newport being gone for England, leaving us, 104 persons, very bare and scanty of victuals, furthermore in wars and in danger of the savages, we hoped after a supply which Captain Newport promised within 20 weeks. By August, things had taken a turn for the worst. Quote, "Our men were destroyed with cruel diseases, as swellings, fluxes, burning fevers, and by wars, and some departed suddenly, but for the most part they died of mere famine. There were never Englishmen left in a foreign country in such misery as we were in this new discovered Virginia. We watched every 3 nights, lying on the bare cold ground. What weather so overcame, warded all the next day, which brought our men to be most feeble wretches. Our food was but a small can of barley sodden water, to 5 men a day, our drink cold water taken out of the river, which was at a flood very salty, and at a low tide full of slime and filth, which was the destruction of many of our men. Thus we lived for the space of 5 months in this miserable distress, not having 5 able men to man our bulwarks upon any occasion. If it had not pleased God to have put a terror in the savage's heart, we had all perished by those wild and cruel pagans, being in that weak estate as we were. Our men night and day groaning in every corner of the fort, most pitiful to hear. If there were any conscience in men, it would make their hearts to bleed to hear the pitiful murmurings and outcries of our sick men without relief, every night and day for the space of 6 weeks, some departing out of the world, many times 3 or 4 in a night. In the morning, their bodies trailed out of their cabins like dogs to be buried. In this sort did I see the mortality of divers of our people." Thankfully for the settlers, some Native Americans sustained them through these dark times. Quote, "It pleased God, after a while, to send those people, which were our mortal enemies, to relieve us with victuals, as bread, corn, fish, and flesh in great plenty, which was the setting up of our feeble men, otherwise we had all perished. Also, we were frequented by divers kings in the country, bringing us store of provision to our great comfort." In January 1608, Captain Newport returned with supplies and 100 new settlers. Of the original 140 men, only 38 were still alive. George Percy's account shows how dangerous these expeditions could be, and how unstable their relationship was with the natives. Still, Jamestown survived and became the first permanent settlement in England's colonization of North America. Its name has become synonymous with the 13 colonies and later of the United States. That's all for today, guys. Thanks very much for watching, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time.